It is a very, very warm welcome from me here on the box once again. Week 6, halfway through the Season 4 shenanigans. Shouldn't I know? Shouldn't I know? It's going to be a alright doozy. And the situation is thus. Car is going around at the middle of the evening, going into the night, at a track temperature of 22 degrees Celsius, 72 degrees Fahrenheit, with a length of 5.69 kilometers, 11 meters above the sea level. Partially cloudy with a northerly wind of 13 kilometers an hour. 13 kilometers an hour, you say? No, it's not too bad. I'll tell you what's bad. It's the Doritos Mountain Dew car Casio with Michelin, driven by none other Dan Muller. Yes, he's gotten into the car. Do not adjust your screens. He is in the car and he is, well, he's flying. So let's hop on board with him. It's quite loud. I can't hear you. Qualifying is underway at the moment for the boys and girls. The usual names are here. We've got Possen. We've got Kobach. Kevin Fulin. And the McDonald's version of this car. Lads. Now you're going to make me hungry. Lawrence Dubureau. Carl JT Moore. Seth Whitaker. Ethan Bass. Johan Rodriguez in the GT Challenge Ford GT2 safety car. Johan Culla, Leo Hudson, and of course Mr. Jarrett Lee. Now he's my favorite because he's in a DBR9. I'm not biased. I swear I'm not biased. And if I am biased, then it's because I love this car. I really do. He's currently sitting second at the moment. 0.8 of a second behind Dan Muller, who just put down a screamer of a qualifying time. Actually, let's hop on board with him. Let's see what he can do. A pretty, how should we put it? A pretty oval-y track. I mean, you do the NASCAR 1, the NASCAR 2, and the NASCAR 3 and the NASCAR 4. We're on the NASCAR 3 into 4 right now. Going on through. Make sure you don't hit the cones. 290 kilometers an hour and climbing. 297. Did he improve his time? No, he didn't. He did not improve his time. God, I love this sound. Jarrett Lee does not improve his time. Lap invalidated. Now let's head over to Seth. Does he improve his time? He's currently sat in second to 3/10. Oh, he's using the apron method. Apron method. Does he improve? By... Oh, he cut it down to half the gap. He did very well. Javier Mascara sitting third. Not able to do another qualifying time. Rodriguez going through the infield. Oh, I think that is a mistake. It's wild seeing that the fact that you can go into first gear up to 80 miles an hour, 120 kilometers an hour. Leo Hudson, I don't think is going to be participating in qualifying. Content to see what he can pick up at the bottom end of the field and see what tickles his fancy, really. It's a good tactic. Coming across the line, another good lap from him, but only enough to pip Johan Kolle and Thomas, what's his name? Thomas Tourbier, not only going to be putting qualifying time, they're going to put him into 7th. Well, qualifying is done. Let's have a look and see at how that fixes them up for the qualifying. It'll be Dan Muller leading the way with a 1:38.941. Jarrett Lee with a 1:39.757. That's a nice aircraft. Kobach with a 1:39.799. Posson with a 1:39.870. Oh, I'm not going to be able to pronounce that last name. Daryl with a 1:47.13. Dubras with a 1:48.950. Then we get into the rest of them. Carl JT Moore will lead the GT2s with a 1:42.086. Whittaker with a 1:42.237. Felling with a 1:42.709. 7th for the GT1s. And 3rd for the GT2s is going to be a 1:43.067 for Javier Mascara. Ethan Bass, 1:43.427. Johan Rodriguez with a 1:43.688. Colette with a 1:44.772. Tourbier with a 1:52.692. And that is the last of your qualifiers. As I said, it is a night race, so get your I can't drive this car at night excuses out of the way. I mean, the Doritos car showed up, so where were you? Where were you when the Doritos car had the Doritos, Mountain Dew, Pennzoil, Michelin, sponsored by Casio livery on it? Look at those cars. Majestic, aren't they? Getting ready, just waiting for the rest of the field to grid. And off they go. We're just on board with the pace car, just to remind you. The details for the Daytona International Speedway. 22 degrees Celsius on the track, or 72 degrees Fahrenheit, with hopefully not too much in the way of issues. As we look at Jarrett Lee. Jarrett Lee is going to be in the hot seat. He wants to pounce on Dan Muller. Be sure to get a good start, my boys. The orange haze of the orange headlights as they get ready. Pace car will pull off momentarily. Oh, and then we're going to be ready. Pace car is off. 30 minutes on the clock. And Dan Muller just runs away with it. He says, nope, I'm running away with it. You are not going to catch me. And already, 2 wide, 2x2 in the background there as they come into the first corner. Oh, very nice indeed. Single file from the GT1s to the GT2s. It is currently a mixed. It is the same reception, actually. They all got through very handily. That's Johan Rodriguez in the 100% not the real pace car, but it is the pace car because a pace car is a pace car. Carl JT Moore sporting a wrong series livery. That is a Camel GT banner on top of your car. Oh, crikey, that is going to be Ethan Bass making mistakes. That is also going to be one car off. That is going to be Johan Collett with issues there on the infield, holding up quite a bit of traffic. Jared Lee keeping it close to Dan Muller. Dan Muller's got this pace advantage. He's tricked out his car to be very, very slippery, which is pretty good because this circuit pretty much helps if you have a sleek car. But if you have a car that's sat behind your car, well, the car ahead of you is not going to be able to do much with your car, so you're going to have to carry your car a little bit faster as Jarrett Lee makes the slow move to the outside. 295, 294. He doesn't have he hasn't got the sea legs just yet. Muller on the inside. Who blinks first? Muller keeps ahead by a whisker as Kobach looks to see if he can make do of anything. Oh my goodness. That Camel GT. I love how he also has the Camel GT mascot plastered all over his car. Mission winnow with the camel. Where's the $75? I know there's meant to be one of those on there. Where's my $75? And the weird thumbs up that you guys have. Come on. I know you have it. Into the second horseshoe now. Number 1 and number 2 fighting relentlessly, try and hold off each other. On board now with Seth Whitaker, looking backwards towards Carl JT Moore. And into the banking. 1-2. Needs to hold. Does Ethan Bass, can Ethan Bass make up moves? He's 6 seconds to catch up to these guys. A little bit of bump drafting thinking was going through his head there, but I don't think in these cars he would want the bump draft. They're death machines at the best of times. It's each their own. But that is one very mean looking car in the rear and taking a wide banking. Odd. Does he want to slow down, try and get... Oh, he does. He does indeed. Side by side, they go. Lawrence Duprat comes to a halt. That's Ethan... Sorry, not Ethan Mann. Carl JT Moore on the outside. Seth on the inside. And Seth just cool as you like. Keeps it inside. Keeps it nice and happy. As we switch back to Doritos. In the form of Dan Muller. Who is going to have this sat behind him for, I think, the remainder of the race because... Oh, these boys are going to go at it. They're not going to stop until the stop and stops. Not when they drift out wide like that, though, but they'll have the slipstream to get back. He might want to just hang back a bit. Slingshot his way forward. But when do you do it? That is the big question. When would you sling forward? You wouldn't sling forward here anyway. It'd be damn near impossible. Through the bus stop. Through 3 and 4. Helter Skelter, 1, 2, and 3. Car number 3, the car number 6, and the car number 9 in tow with each other. Oh, that is Dieter. Almost thinking what the wall would have tasted like, and said, I want to eat that. But, he kept it out. Good lad. You can see the different lines that that the two guys are taking. Jarrett's taking a much more pointed line versus Dan Muller, who's letting the car nice and easily coast through. Again, JT Moore battling hard against Seth here for the first position. That is Rodriguez turning himself into a plow. Javier Mascara, though, taking his Soviet mobile and placing it into third on the back end of that mistake. Leo Hudson, by the way, passing by Thomas Turbier, who had that lazy slide. You can just see how unforgiving this car is when you do have the lazy slide. Really can't do much about it. Ethan Bass has cut the gap down quite considerably. He is as near as no difference, about 6 to 8 tenths of a lap faster so far versus Javier Mascara. He's not faster than the lead, but he can at least claw back his way towards a podium finish. And I think with the mistake that he had at the start, I think he'd be very happy with that. Now, Jarrett Lee, side by side, coming across the line. Oh, jeepers! As close as you would want it. On the inside, does he make the over-under stick? He does not. Slip of the tongue, the slip of the brakes. Had to calm the car down. Side by side they go, just about. A hair and a whisker. Charlie backing out, though, just wanting to not get caught in a situation where he could go side by side into the first horseshoe and then get passed on the back straight, or even a little bit further beyond. Third horseshoe. Out onto the back end 1 and then onto 2. Leo Hudson again having issues. We don't need to go to it. Having issues at the back there. Oh. You can just tell how much suspension travel these guys have when, I mean, it's not much, but the car bouncing around like it's a bouncy castle. Deary me. Again, Jarrett will try again. Adam Kobach has caught up again. Waiting for Posson to potentially start clawing his way back up towards the field as well. He is sneaking ever so slightly closer, so he's doing a good job. Still keeping a slipstream range in about a second, but he'll obviously get much closer now that it's a three-way squabble. Just a case of, can he make things stick? Dan Muller very effectively placing the car right on the apex, especially for corners that are called the Horseshoe 1 and the Horseshoe 2. You kind of want to place your car nice, get the best line out of it, obviously. But then what you want to do is just bolt the car, get going, crack them, and be sure of yourself when you're doing it. Rodriguez has caught up to Mascara. Break for our lives, yes. With the safety car behind, you're in good company there, Javier. Leo Hudson, by the way, has indeed retired the car, so unfortunately we won't be seeing him race further. It's a shame because he was doing well for himself. I can tell you the rest of the field. Oh, poor exit and entry into the bus stop for Posson. Lost 4/10 of a second there. He could be out of slipstream range if he's not careful. He needs to keep an eye on that weapon. But this man's bump drafting. I witnessed that. You can't lie to me, Jarrett. I saw you bump his rear bumper. Coming back to the GT2s, that's Carl JT Moore with Seth Whittaker. Side by side now, going out of 4. You want the inside line. 1-800-PROTEST to see how his driving is. JT Moore had the speed, and then look what happens. It just bleeds away on the inside. Rodriguez, though, very well done. I want to have a look at this. Just look how far back he comes. Slides out. So effective. Keeps the speed, the momentum. Nice and chill. Takes the lead coming into 1, which is very tricky in this car, I'd imagine. Very effective. Very well done. Jarrett Lee, unfortunately, losing a bit. He's a bit out of shape. Lost a little bit of time on the inroads. If he loses Dan Muller, that is going to be the nail biting end that nobody wanted, because it'll then be a fight for the best for the rest. And I think Dan most definitely would hope to have a nicer, quieter race without having to worry what's behind him. But the slipstream is doing its magic. 300 kilometers an hour for Jarrett Lee. The effectiveness of that slipstream, absolutely, without doubt, if you can hold on to it. Oh, that is not what poor Jarrett Lee wanted. Oh, poor Jarrett. Oh, that's going to throw everybody helter skelter in the middle of the field. Dearie me. Oh, and that's going to be the thing that's going to wake up your cornflakes when you put the spoon in the bowl. And by put the spoon in the bowl, I mean whack the spoon in the bowl. Seth Whittaker making almost the same mistake, going wide through 1. Let's have a look at this. So this is Seth on your screens, coming into turn 1. Goes wide. You can't get the car pulled in, and Carl just had just a nice line through that whole thing. The $75 Edu car coming up Millhouse in this case, but not out of the woods yet. Seth kept it on the black stuff, and now needs to think about where he's going to overtake. Slides out coming onto NASCAR 1 and 2 though. Keep it careful. Mosquera still chasing down Rodriguez though, so battles happening quite throughout. Kobach needs to catch. His only goal is to get that 1.6 seconds down to 1.4. Doing good so far. In, right, left, around, right. Up into 3rd, into 4th, a kink in the middle of the 2 horseshoes, into 5th, down the gears, into 2nd, swing it round, hug the inside, sweep out, 3rd gear, look at the headlights ahead of you, think about switching up into 4th, no, hold it to the rev limiter coming into 3rd, sweep around, left, onto the bank now. Let the car drift if you want it to drift. Get a nice boost out into a higher gear if you need it. 5th gear. 6th gear. And it's just not close enough, unfortunately. Dan is just... oh, he's so tantalizingly outside the slipstream range, as is Posson of Kobach. So unless something were to happen, and I think Kobach really does need that gap to close. 294 kilometers an hour though. As I said, this is Carl JT Moore. The wrong way around now. He lost time on the inroad and lost his position to Seth. Let me see if I can grab where that happened. I think it happened a bit further back. Side by side going into turn 1. Lifts off the gas, or the accelerator pedal. And just says, okay, no point fighting, because he's just going to be doing this. Sending it back around the outside. A little bit of a tease he is, but the camel doesn't lie. The camel's got the pipe in his mouth. Probably wants Seth to make another mistake like he did on turn 1, which they've just passed, by the way, a few laps ago, and make a bigger mistake so that he, you know, obviously you don't want somebody to make a mistake, but if they were to make a mistake, make it right there and make it a bit of a harsher mistake. How about that? That sound good? But at the very least, still going strong. Still on the attack. Javier Mosquera still chasing down Johan Rodriguez, who drifts wide, very wide, coming through the second horseshoe, leaving the door wide open for Javier Mosquera to take a sneak peek. The line will be compromised for both of them. They'll not get the run that they wanted. Rodriguez will get a nice tighter line, but he won't get the speed that he needs on the oval, and he'll force give slipstream to this man on your screen, Javier Mosquera. Already faster, 270 kilometers an hour. Speed difference right now between them is 5 kilometers an hour. Doesn't sound much, but the grand scheme of things, if you're 5 kilometers an hour faster than another runner, all other things being equal, yeah, you would be on the Olympic sports team. At least, if my maths is correct, which is not. So, side by side again, Carl Moore, Seth Whitaker, going at it. The next battle for GT2s as of right now is currently this one. Adam Kobach and Dieter Possen for second place. Dan Muller, all he sees in his rearview mirror right now is just 2 distant headlights in the distance, far away in the distance. And he doesn't need to worry about this man, because this man has to worry about this man. And this man worries about that man, and they both worry about each other. Do you get that? Class dismissed. And if anybody asks, we're back at school. But this is real racing school. Real racing. We're racing. We're driving our V8 motor. Well, actually, if you're driving a Corvette, yeah, you really can say that, actually. Carl Moore holding formation. He knows he can't make the pass now. He needs to give enough of a gap in front of him and hopes that Seth gets a good run. Not too good of a run so that he can't pass him on slipstream, but enough of a good run so that he doesn't hold him up. Pulls it out. Holds the sideways draft. Makes the move. Again, not enough of a leg to get up there. If he had 3 extra kilometers an hour, he would have made that just by the skin of his teeth. Another 5 or 6, and he would have been past him handy. But the setups are so peculiar that you really do need to be careful. You still need a car that drives on the inroad. You can't just be slow on the inroad and fast on the outroad. You have to have a setup that does good compromise in a car like this. And I think for the DBR9, unfortunately today is a day of, well, can't really do straight line speed very well, but we can do corners very well. It doesn't help when the car that is the fastest out of a lot of them is this man, and he's got an absolutely tricked out car. In his element is Dan Muller. I just want to figure out why there's Doritos on that car. I don't know. I don't know why he has the Doritos on that. Was that an actual livery? If it was, then, you know, I really wouldn't be surprised. I mean, does sound like a very Corvette thing to do. Cutting through the bus stop again. This is Kyle JT Moore, Seth Whitaker. Now, Seth's what we're going to be dubbing a very smart driver. He knows that Carl cannot, unless he makes a mistake, immediately cause him issues. He just needs to drive his line. Drives the inside line. Keeps it nice and tucked in. Now, having said that, this has been Carl's best run at it for quite a while, but you plant the car in the middle of the road coming into turn 1 in the Ford, you really can't do much if you're on the outside. If you're on the inside, you might be able to survive. But the problem is, on the outside, it just doesn't cooperate with you. You just get fed out into the Armco, into the grass. And Rodriguez turned his car into a plow. We saw that happen on turn 1. I'm surprised the floor didn't jam into the ground and send him head over heels like he saw a celebrity. But yeah, definitely a bit of the mouth, a heart in the mouth moment, I would imagine, for him, having to make sure that car did not hit any barriers, because if it did, whew. Posson, 3rd place. Last lap was 1:45.29, slower by 0.3 of a second, or 0.4 of a second actually, to Adam Kobach. Needs to try and gain time. He's gaining time, then he loses it. He acquires time and then he forfeits it. He buys time, but then he sells time. We're all out of time. I don't even know where I'm going now. It's just time, right? Just time. Don't worry about it. It's just time. Seth again going low, holding it steady. Steady as she goes. Perfect. I feel like Carl just can't. He can't get really that much closer than he is unless he had an absolute screamer. And just needs he needs Seth to make a mistake at some point. But where will that come from? I don't know. Seth's been driving a flawless race so far and just been keeping to himself. And that will be what is going to be so ingrained in Carl's mind. He needs to make sure that he doesn't let it fester. Because if you let something like that fester, you're going to go bonkers trying to figure out what the best way forward is. Because you just want to get past. You just want to get past. Get that lead. Hold that lead. Because Seth's been holding it for a good while, and just, you know, every time I see that car bounce, I think that bounces it. You know, that bounces where it's just gonna jackknife like a freight train and roll. It does not look stable. Oh, poor Rodriguez. More issues for him coming through the bus stop. Let's have a look. Comes into the bus stop. Oh, you see, like, just snap kill. He didn't die, but I mean, you're not far off from it. I mean, just look how quickly the car just says, no, I wish to not drive anymore. Comes through, dead. Bye. I kept it going in the right direction though. That's majestic. Very well done. New battle forming. Ethan Bass has officially caught up to Javier Mosquera. He passed Rodriguez when Rodriguez made that mistake. So he'll be hunting for the podium place, and I think he will be licking his lips, as is this man, Dieter Possen is now licking his lips. He's the car number 9 ahead of him. Second place up for grabs. Dan Muller, all he has to do is keep putting in good laps, essentially qualifying pace at this point. Hopefully got enough fuel for that one, Dan. And Carl just needs to hold on by this time, see if he can make the move. And if he can make the move, where does he make the move? Do you make the move? What is the move? Outside the move? Inside the move? Drafting and then holding off the move? These are the questions. These are the questions that we ask ourselves. The hard-hitting journalistic questions. Outside again goes Carl JT Moore. Again, just not able to get his... Like, the car just does not want to cooperate on that outside line. Really doesn't look like it's happy out there. But then again, which car is? Possen passing by lap traffic. That was, I think, Johan Kolle. They passed by. Bass catching up, as is Carl JT Moore. Now this is one to turn up for the books. As if it wasn't turning up for the books that they've been battling for the last 27 minutes. 30 minutes has gone by. Jeepers creepers. I'm telling you, when you look at the battles that these old majestic, I really have cursed poor Possen again, haven't I? Dieter, I'm sorry, please, I'm sorry. I don't mean to go to you when you have an accident or a mishap. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh, crikey, hopefully that doesn't happen with Carl. Please don't let it happen with Carl. Okay, he's good, he made it through. 2 minutes to go. So this will be the penultimate lap for Dan Muller, as will be the penultimate lap for Carl JT Moore. Lap 17 that they're currently sat on the outside. Good run this time. Brakes applied, keeps it sideways, and just the car drifts out wide. Oh! Could he be going for a cheeky run? Ethan Bass trying his luck on the outside. Javier Mascara keeping it nice and tight on the inside, but overcooks it. Swings by, and just like that, unfortunately, a little bit of pressure on the outside. And Ethan Bass takes third place. Possen has 2 laps to make it right, so he has 2 seconds to make up. 2 seconds and pass in 2 laps. In less than 2 laps, actually. You know, I've seen Supermen. I don't know if that would be what I would call a Herculean effort, really. Because it really would be a Herculean effort. Through the night skies of Daytona in Florida. Yeah, we've got a family in Florida. Coming up to the last lap for these guys. Seth just needs to hold on for 1 more lap and a corner. Carl going high again. Ooh, and just... He has his nose ahead when he comes to the line, and then when he gets to the line, there's no way he made that pass. Oh, I know what Seth did. Let's sit on board with Seth. I'll take you back 20 seconds. Now, listen to his on board, and you tell me what you hear. By the way, Dan Muller did a slow down, a brake, and I'm telling you. Was so cheeky from Seth and made it happen on the infield horseshoe 2. A bananas option to do that. Javier Mosquera catches back up to Ethan Bass. We'll keep the cameras here. This is the final set of corners. That is the bus stop. Carl needs to just execute this just right. Seth going high, taking the middle lane. Oh, this is going to be close. Who's going to come across the line first? Oh, they're weaving, they're bobbing. That's Seth. No, Seth. Oh. Seth, unfortunately, by the whiskers of his hairs, does not get it. Oh. And Javier Mosquera, the Red Menace strikes back, and it does. Two very close entries into the butt-clenching episode here for the boys. I tell you now. But the Janie. Be the Janie. Oh, dearie me. Oh, dearie me. Now that was a good one. That was a good one. Of course, your results for today's race will be Carl JT Moore. Wait, that's the wrong section. Dan Muller leading the way for the boys in a very comfortable lead of 8 seconds ahead of Kobach, with Posson in third, Jarrett Lee in fourth, Weininger in fifth, Felling in sixth, and seventh is going to be the one retiree for them, which was Lawrence Dubois. Carl JT Moore in first position, Seth Whitaker in second. Oh, that was so close. And then another close one, Javier Mosquera and Ethan Bass. Ethan, I guarantee you, was hoping and praying that he was going to be able to convert that into a win or into a third place, but just too close for comfort, with Rodriguez in fifth. Sixth is Colette. Torbier in seventh, and the other retiree was Hudson in eighth, rounding out everybody that came to play today. I am going to borrow Seth from his very busy schedule to talk to him if he's still there. Seth, how are we?
I'm good, Robert. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, my friend. I'm doing fantastic. A very close race between you two for the majority of that. How much butt clenching was there in that car at that last lap?
Oh, there was a ton, man. I knew I had to keep Carl behind me for as much of the race as I could, so he didn't get a good lead on me. And we were kind of playing games there that last lap, trying to see who was going to be in front to come to the bus stop chicane, and then he backed off more than I did and was able to get the run down to the finish line and take the win by just less than a second.
And to be fair, for an entire race lasting 30 minutes and going around here in that car, 11 thousandths or 13 thousandths of a second is pretty amazing, because unfortunately one of the individuals, Johan Rodriguez, had a bit of a mishap where the car got very upset through the bus stop. Take me through the car. How is it on Daytona?
I love driving this thing. I've been driving it for probably close to 10 years now. It's got a ton of top speed here at Daytona, so if we're ever up behind some of the GT1 cars, we can actually pass them on the straights. But without the very good brakes these things have, you're braking very early, trying to slow it way down for these corners, and it gets pretty slippery when we're running almost no downforce to maximize our top speeds.
Yeah, I mean, still fun to spook some GT1s that you probably wouldn't have expected the GT2s to be able to keep up so much. Next week, though, we have... Where is it? We have Canadian Tire Motorsports. Are you looking forward to that in this car? Because I know that's... Daytona is quite... When you look at it, it's 2 horseshoes and the oval and a bus stop. At least in this Roval configuration. Canadian Tire is quite the handful, I'd imagine, in this car.
Sorry, the stream music's playing through your speakers, so I can't quite hear you.
I know. I was saying the sorry. Up next week will be Canadian Tire Motorsports, and I guarantee you, in this car, it'll be a handful.
Oh yeah, it's should be a good fun race there next week. A lot different than Daytona for sure. So different types of practice we got to do for that track to be ready. Hopefully I can stay with Carl and the other fast guys next week too.
I imagine you give them plenty of run for the money. I mean, for the first 6 races of this season anyway, you definitely have. Seth, pleasure to talk to you as always. Any shout outs or thanks you'd like to give?
Yeah, I mean, I want to first thank you for doing the broadcast. Coming back and shedding a small amount of light back on the series is much appreciated. And just to kind of wrap up, I have a quick announcement for this series. Starting in 2024 Season 1, we'll be growing from 2 classes back to 3 classes as the HPD gets new damage model returning, and it's going to make the series amazing next season, as all those HPD lovers can come back and get a good drive.
Well, I remember when we said goodbye to it. Now we can say hello to it all over again. That brings a tear to my eyes seeing that coming back. I love me HPD, even though it's very, very old.
It's a great fun car to drive.
It is indeed. I remember driving it back in the day. Seth, pleasure as always to talk to you. Enjoy the rest of your day.
You too, Robert. Thank you.
And that was Seth Whitaker announcing HPD. Now get that into your trumpet and pipe it across the Everglades. But unfortunately, we won't be piping any longer because you can dance if you want to. We can leave the friends behind, but the friends don't dance, and if they don't dance, they're no friends of mine. But we've done dancing for now, at the very least, and we just want to thank absolutely everybody that tuned in today. Thank you guys for putting on a very good race. Love to have yous around as always. Make sure to check us out on don't check us out on Facebook or Twitter because we don't post a lot. Next week, Sunday at 19:45 GMT will be Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. As I said before, 30 minutes with a morning race to enjoy, and the week after that will be the 24 Hours of Le Mans. I tell you, when the HPD comes back around and sees that, oh yes indeed, you betcha I'm going to be running that. But until then, my name has been Robert O'Brien. This has been Raidillon TV, the only corner that you guys need. Good evening, one and all.